So, welcome everyone to the BEI live show. I'm laughing at myself because I played the wrong intro for anybody who's been following us. You're probably thinking, like, where did that come from? But anyway,
It's been a while.
look, it's been a minute,
Yes,
so we gonna
right.
charge that one up to oopsie.
Some people, some people are still in 2025.
Cedric, that was 2023.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Oh, so look, that's a good way to start to think about memories and the journey that we've been on. But I just want to welcome everyone to the BEI live show. I'm Angela Hooper Minifield, and I am really so excited about tonight's conversation. So, if you're joining us live, what I really want you to do is immediately let's jump in those comments and see who's out there. Now, for those of you who are watching us on the replay, even at that, I want you to put some comments in the chat. Why? Because we're going to come back and read them. So tonight is really special. If you know myself, Dr. Nick, and Cedric, you know we've been working together for a minute, but I am just so excited to be here with them tonight because they're my fellow collaborators, thought partners, and tonight I get the honor and privilege to call them fellow co-authors. So welcome, Cedric. Welcome, Dr. Nick.
Hello, everybody. It's been a minute. Glad to be back. Had to figure out all this technology, but we we are here.
Definitely. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. It's a new year. We got some new things going, and it's going to be a fun time.
That's right. Happy
Yes.
New Year, y'all. I forgot about that part.
Yes, a lot of newness, a lot of newness. Hello, Dr. Sitsi. She said she listening on her way home from work. All right. So tonight is really extra special, not only because it's been a while since we've been here, but we are here tonight to talk about the newly released anthology, Mindset of a Champion, developing the high performance entrepreneur in you. And yes, we all came prepared, right? We got books, y'all. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
All right.
So,
So this is real, everybody. We finally have it in our hands, and this is kind of our have it in your hands moment, and we're sharing it with you all. So before we jump into the chapters, I just want to kind of set the groundwork and explain to everybody why it was this book was written and why it exists. You see, Mindset of a Champion didn't start with us just saying, oh, let's write a book. It really came from real conversations, real challenges, and real work. Because, see, we've been doing this together through the Business Excellence and Impact Group, and even before the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, right? If you saw the promo song. But we've been doing this together, the three of us, since 2020. And through BEI, we've hosted 12 boot camps, master classes, and intensives, primarily trying to support coaches and consultants who are trying to figure out how is it that they can start, grow, and scale their business. But they also want to do those things without burning out, losing focus, or losing themselves. So this book is the mindset foundation behind that work. So let me ask both of you a couple of questions to kind of get us kicked off a little bit. When people hear about the title, Mindset of a Champion, what do you think they first assume about the book? And what do you want them to know it's really about? So, Nicole, I'll start with you first.
that's a good question. I think when I hear the word champion, like in my mind, I always think of the Rocky theme song. So in my dun, dun. So I feel like when people hear mindset of a champion, it's that hype, motivation, Rocky type deal, winning. And that's all great because that's all in the book. But I think the most important, as I read through all the chapters, is it's really about what you're doing when nobody's clapping. Like when nothing's going on. What are you doing? Like, what's the internal motivation that you have? What are those internal decisions that you are making to make your business, to make your life, to make your goals work, right? It's not just what you doing when everybody's looking at you, giving you the praise, but that champion mindset is not a loud thing. It's something internal that's discipline, is how your ability to kind of stay grounded, to reflect on what you're doing, to be really intentional for the long haul so you can see things being executed and sustainable in their business. So I think that will be the thing. When I hear that champion, I just hear that Rocky theme song and that hyped up, but it's
Go
more
ahead,
than
go ahead and say that tune again, Nicole, that you did.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh boy.
Don't do it too much. Look, you do it too long, we got to pay royalties. All right.
Adrian.
Adrian.
She wasn't in band.
Yeah.
But she is a dancer. Don't forget now, she is a dancer.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
Don't play like y'all don't know the Rocky theme song.
I know the theme song, but what you did was not the theme song.
We're trying to build some sales of recognition.
You want to start from the beginning? I just came to the climax.
Yeah. See, I'm a musician. We played that back in my high school days, so I know it. I should have probably. I know y'all gonna talk about this. I could have brought my trumpet right there.
Yeah, no. Wow.
Well, Cedric, you'll find this funny then, because I was in the band too. And when I first went to Mississippi State, our coach was named, I think, Rocky Felker. And so we were at all the football games. So we had to play the Rocky theme song almost all, like it was like that little short in between plays. Mm-hmm. I got so tired of playing that song. So yeah, Nicole, I'm with Cedric though. That wasn't it, but that's all right.
But she tried.
She tried.
So like the Falcons, they try to play in the NFL, but
Hey, I don't care.
Or the Cleveland Browns. Never mind.
So Cedric, I'm gonna pass it to you. When people hear, what do you think they assume the book is about, and what do you want them to really think about?
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that they think about an entrepreneurial book in terms of how to develop that mindset to win in your business. I think they may be thinking more of sports type of thing when they hear the mindset of a champion, right? Like Nicole said, Rocky comes to mind. So I think that's what they probably think first. But the beautiful thing is how it combines with that is what it takes to be a champion in the ring. It takes the same thing to be a champion in your business, right? That mindset that you have to have, that determination that you have to have is the same regardless of what your field is, right? So, but when I think of the mindset of a champion, what I want people to think of is this, and we have this quote in the book: a champion's mindset is the key to turning failure into success, right? You lose that first round in a fight, it doesn't mean the fight's over, right? It just means you have some work to do in the next several rounds, right? If that failure happens in a football game, a basketball game, soccer, in that first quarter, that first half, it doesn't mean the game is over. You got to keep going, right? In your business, in the first quarter of the year, let's say you get started late. Let's say you don't make your goal in the first quarter. That's okay. It doesn't mean you stop and say, well, I'm going to wait till next January to get started. No. This is, and We're going to talk about this in a little bit, but this is where, when you have that mindset to keep going, to never quit, to never say that you can't do it, you don't have the skills, that you're not good enough, have that mindset to remind yourself every single day, I can do this. You're going to be that little engine that could, right? That little train, and you're going to keep going up that hill, right? And eventually you're going to get it right. Guess what? It may take you a year or two. It may take you 4 years before you get it, but you have to have the determination. I'm never going to quit. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up on myself, because if you quit on this one thing, you're going to quit on everything.
Excellent point. I so agree. I've often been known to use the phrase that, entrepreneurship is not for the weary of heart, right? Like, this is something that you have to want, and you have to want it for the right reasons. And while, I can say very clearly that we all like money. But what I will say is, if that's your only driver, right? Like, it still needs to be attached to what you're going to do with the money or something, because it's not for everybody. So again, the book, for those of you who just joined, is Mindset of a Champion: Developing the Entrepreneur, the High Performance Entrepreneur Within You, right? Because there are some entrepreneurs out there, but they're not high performing, right? So that part is really important. So let's just really dig a little deep, right, about what this book is for a minute. Because again, we all have it in our hands. And I'd just like for each of us to maybe flip through to a page or something from one of your chapters and grab maybe a line or an idea or something that you would say, not only is it for that reader, but you can honestly say, this is something that I still navigate and practice myself. Because when we write books, we're not talking at people. We're sharing not only our journey about how it has evolved for us, but we're walking alongside of them. And so I'd love for each of us to just share something that really resonates with us. So who wants to go first? Who's ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'll go. So
Okay.
I'm on page 10 of the book, and by the way, let me just see.
We can see the highlights.
Yeah, I everywhere through this book, you're gonna see highlights, because I've read it after we put it together, and I have highlights and all that type of stuff. And so there's two things I want to tell you. One, we embrace the 212 philosophy, right? I embrace that. I'm not sure what that noise is.
Me either.
I'm gonna see. Let me see.
Let me mute myself and make sure they me.
Let me see.
So, well, let's mute one at a time. So I'm gonna mute first. All right, now, Angela. Seems like it went away.
Yeah, maybe it was just something in the internet.
Yeah, in the internet. Yeah. So, I embrace the 212 philosophy since probably 2004. Is when I first came across this philosophy. So that's it. That's in the book, and I want you to definitely embrace that. But one of the things that I also put in this chapter is defining a champion's mindset, and these three core attributes. One is resilience, second one is adaptability, and the third one is commitment to excellence. Right? Now, resilience, we know that means the ability to recover from adversity and to maintain a positive outlook. Right? Successful entrepreneurs view setbacks as critical learning moments. You have to be willing to be resilient. You have to develop that skill set. If you don't, you're going to struggle, right? You're going to take everything personal when you shouldn't do that. Adaptability, I like to put it like Charles Darwin said. He says, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one with the most the one most responsive to change.
Mm.
You have to be willing to adapt and overcome. Markets change, seasons change, pricing change, competitors change. Your product is going to change over time. You have to be willing. Don't fall in love with it. It has to be like this all the time. It can change, right? And then the last thing is commitment to excellence, right? And Napoleon Hill says it best. He says, there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose and the knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it. He says, you must commit to that to have a culture of high performance. So I'm gonna stop right there because I could keep going and whoo.
Yeah, I feel a keynote coming. I don't know about you, but
that's the preacher coming out. That's the preacher.
Hey, I did it Monday in Alabama, and it'll definitely come out in a heartbeat.
Come out. He gonna need his rag in a minute.
I know.
Now, I don't have a rag close to me, but I have JC's diaper next to me. So.
That is too funny. Okay, what about you, Dr. Nick?
All right. So I was looking at in chapter 2, where I talk about embracing the growth mindset of entrepreneurial success. And in a section called rejection, redefinition, and reinvention. And I talk about just how, like you said, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. There's things going to happen. Things may go the way you want to, but guess what? A lot of times they don't. And so when you face those challenges, on page 36, I talk about failure, and where it says that the failure that you experience doesn't define you, it refines you. And I go into talking about where having this growth mindset is so important because it allows you to reframe the rejection or reframe that failed moment, and how we have to look at things not as failure, but as feedback. And yes, it could be painful. Yes, it could be disappointing. Yes, it could be challenging, but that information is really valuable. And so I think that right there gives you a lot of information to be able to move forward. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, as Cedric says, we face things, but sometimes when we face those challenging moments, when we face those things, when things don't go the way we plan, we get defeated. We start going down that tunnel where we have our limiting belief, our self-doubt, and going through that spiral that ultimately doesn't move us to that next level. But having that growth mindset is the idea that requires us being comfortable with discomfort just to be able to move forward, right? It's not easy when we want to say we want to grow, we want to go to the next level, but when failure comes, when we get feedback that's not criticism or delays, we sit in it. And so redefining it, reinventing yourself, and moving forward, I think that right there is the golden in that particular section that I like, because even for me as a leader, I face failure. I'm not always getting everything right, and it's easy to go back and be like, man, what did I do? But having that motivation to redefine, okay, what happened? What could I have done better? What do I need to stop doing? What I need to start doing? And using that information to keep moving you forward. I think for me, that's one thing that I got from chapter 2.
Yeah. And before you go, Angela, one of the things in chapter 2 that Nicole does a good job with in the book for you as a reader is she gives you some real world examples, and she talks about Airbnb, right? And how they had to adjust and adapt and change and be willing to have that mindset. Otherwise, they could be like Blockbuster. Remember when?
Yeah. No, even just now when Dr. Nick was talking, I so wanted to just start telling people, oh, and this book has this, that, and the other, because there's so much good stuff in here. It is. Thank you for bringing that out, Cedric. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to take people to I believe this is chapter 4, marketing and branding. And the first quote I want to bring out is the quote where I talk about on page 64. If you don't define your brand, the market will do it for you, and you may not like the result. You know, I think about the number of people when we talk to them, they're still trying to figure out who they are, what it is they do, and who they serve. And so then if you come over to page 71, you know, practical tips to really build visibility and trust. And the reason why I picked this one, because this is something that I still vacillate in. Sometimes I'm really good at visibility, and sometimes I go hibernate. And it's just my natural personality, right? But it's again that resiliency or the mindset that you got to push through it. But the first thing that I say in that chapter on page 71 is first you got to teach what you know. Like so many of us are out here trying to replicate what other people are doing. That's not our thing. You know, a quote I say often in trainings is, you know, you may as well be you, all the other roles are already taken. Right. So we need to quit trying to do what other people do, sell what they sell, you know, sound like they sound. So teach what you know, but also show your process. You know, this is one of the things we've done a great job of. Like we let people come behind the scenes and see what it is we do, how we do it. We model it. We show them when we launch things, how we do things, but we are actually doing that. And then, you know, there's other things, but the last one I'll say on that page is being consistent. Consistency wins every time. Some of us want to come out here and hit a home run and be like, and then we don't go back up to bat again for 2 years. That's not a business.
Right.
That's a hobby. That's something you do for fun. Consistency is really what that is about. So that would be what I would bring out.
Yeah, and you know, Angela, before you go on, because I did my due diligence in this book to really understand it as we talk to people about it. Right. One of the things that Angela talks about in the book in this marketing section says marketing with purpose, not panic. Right. She says people don't buy products; they buy clarity, confidence, and connection. You see. So you can have a product, but if it's not clear what problem it's going to solve for people, they're not going to do anything. If your confidence in the product, if you're talking about it, you're like, well, maybe you might like it. You might want to, guess what? I'm not buying it. I'm not going to like it. Right. And if I can't connect with you, I'm not going to buy your product. So your job is to have your product, but you have to know it. You have to be able to sell it, right, with confidence. So let me stop. Right.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. A lot of times, look, Cedric, I'm like, do you eat your own cooking? Because because see, you serving it up for me and telling me to buy it, but you go somewhere else and eat, right? Like you don't believe in your own product,
right?
And so,
hold on, wait a minute. We got Dr. Charles Minifield in the chat. What? Oh man!
Look,
okay.
My baby supporting me tonight. Look.
I was starting to wonder if he was a real guy or not.
I'm not. Put him on camera now. Look, don't make me pull him out. Look, my family all in the chat. There go my baby.
I see Miss Amber. Look at that, boy. They just coming all out.
That's
over there in the White House in Memphis.
Charles thought that was funny, Cedric.
That's funny.
And my cousin Renee was in the chat too. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, so I got to shout her out because I know
all right.
She be calling me later. Like, you didn't say nothing about me. No, I'm just
playing. Okay, all right. I see Miss Renee Howard.
Look, they all chatting it up. What Amber say now? She said
she's the main baby, though.
That's right. That's my main baby.
Okay. Hey, Nicole, I'm not going to touch that one.
But see, she know I got, other, grandkids, adopted kids, and all of that. But she the main one. She know her role.
Okay, all right. I'm going to call Sissy about this one.
We
Sissy
let it
know. Sissy and Amber done met too.
go.
Sissy put a comment in there. She'll tell you. All right, so
That's funny.
let's dig a little deeper into our author spotlight. So, Dr. Nick, your chapters really center on growth mindset,
Mhm.
intentional goal setting, and legacy. And what I really appreciate is how honest you are about doubt and discomfort. So you talk about rejection, and you brought that up again, and reframing setbacks as data instead of failure. Why is that message so important for entrepreneurs right now, January 2026?
Yeah, that's good questions. I think it's important because um, as entrepreneurs, we always say, and we say this in our, I was about to say boot camps, we say it in our master classes that, we are problem solvers. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. And so if God is giving you something to put out into that market, right? It is to solve a problem, right? It's needed, it is valuable. And again, you have to, again, like Cedric says, make sure it's framed the right way, all of that stuff. But to the core, what has been placed in your spirit is needed. And so when you come and face those challenges and you retreat, you don't move forward, you stay in that failure or that sunken state, you do yourself a disservice, not only to you, but to who you're called to. And so I think we're in a time where people are hungry to get help for answers. And we're in a season where people are needing what you have. So I think being able as entrepreneurs to internalize things and be able to get the rejection or failure and refine them so they can keep moving, so their value, their information, their message, their helping can go out to help people, is right now is it's needed. It's so needed. And it doesn't mean just because you failed, doesn't mean you're just not qualified, you're not worthy, you're not, but there are some things that in your, we talk about this in our masterclass, having the systems that you need, right? So it may be a systematic problem, but it's not a you problem. So I think being able to reframe the setbacks and use them as data instead of failure, that's going to help you really manifest your calling and the reason why you started your business in the first place, right? We're problem solvers and people need you. I think reframing why we are entrepreneurs, like you said, Angela, earlier. Yes, we all here to make money. That's great. And that's like the byproduct, and that should not be your initial thought, right? But you're here to help people and solve problems. And the more you think about that, when you do face that those setbacks, those failures, when you think about your why you're doing this, that's going to help you to be motivated to reframe and to look at things different and to treat those setbacks as data, as we said, and not just and that moment. And that way you can stay always in that learning mode. You're learning, that when you're learning, you're moving, right? That keeps you moving. So right now, people don't need more pressure, they want help. And we can see that now. We can see that, on social media, people want help. So I think being able to reframe that gives you the ability to get your calling out there. God giving you this idea, this thought, this problem to solve, and people are waiting. So in 2026, time out for all the other extra stuff that we're doing that's not serving us. People are waiting on you. So I think that would be my main thing as to why I always focus on being able to reset those failures, to reframe them and use that information as data so you can shift your mindset and really preserve in that confidence and get that clarity and the stamina that you need for that long-term success. So yeah.
I love that. So
Mhm.
Dr. Sissy's already said she likes how you stated that, Dr. Nick. And so I'm going to tell those of you who are listening and watching, and again, whether it's on the replay or not, if that really resonated with you, I want you to type data, not failure, in the comments, because Dr. Nick is right. This is data. This is data. Let's see what Charles said, Nicole. He said, "You are right, Nicole. I don't think people know that they need help."
Mhm.
There you have it.
That part right there.
Yeah.
That part.
So Cedric, you
That's what they
really
call me.
ain't. Pardon me.
I say that's what they call me.
They call you said.
I saw a post on social. Nicole, I saw a post on social media the other day. It said that they call you greatest ever. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's part two. First name greatest, last name ever.
See, I do follow you, right? See, so people thought we are. Look at my family being obedient.
They just showing
Look,
out.
they follow instructions and everything. Look at that.
Okay, so Cedric, you really anchor the foundation of this book, the champion's mindset, positive thinking, and focus and discipline. So you say mindset isn't motivation, it's a commitment. Can you unpack that for people who are tired of hype, but still want some results?
Yeah. So mindset is everything, right? What you think is what you become. Um, I know that, sometimes people think that they need all kind of things to get them going. They really don't. It's at the top of their head. That's all they need is the right mindset to keep you going, right? Your mindset is going to get you started. Well, first of all, it's going to give you the idea. Then it's going to get you started. Then when failure comes, your mindset is going to keep you in the game. And then when you have success, your mindset is going to be such that you can take it and then bring it to a whole nother level, right? Tony Robbins said, and we put this quote in the book, the only limit to your impact is your imagination and your commitment. That right there, how much do you dream about your business? See, this is why I wrote 10 books in 3 years, is because I'm always thinking about what can I write about next? What can I do to help other people in some kind of way? Right? So I'm thinking about this all the time, right? And then you have to be committed to the idea, right? And commitment means now you got to start the grind, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody wants the glory. See, everybody wants to be on the call tonight. The glory, saying, hey, they're the author of this book, but they don't want the grind that it takes. I'll give you an example. When we wrote this book, right? Then I read Angela's chapter, Angela read Nicole's chapter, Nicole read my chapters, or vice versa. It was like that, right? So that's the grind. Oh my God, I got to read this book. And then he goes to the editor, and then they come back, and then we got to read it again. Nobody wants that grind. See, that's the commitment piece. When you have that, man, it all changes. So it starts here. And here's what we understand. If we look at a team, we know that teams led by an optimistic leader, meaning a leader who has a positive mindset, show 50% higher performance levels than teams who don't have that type of leader, right? We know that an individual who has a positive mindset are 30% more likely to achieve their goals compared to their pessimistic counterparts. So think about that. When you go to work tomorrow, look at your neighbor, look at your peers. If you're running ahead of them, you know what that means. Their mindset is not where yours is, right? But if they're running ahead of you, that means you got to check yourself. What's your mindset like? That changes everything. I remember the first time I went to a Maxwell event, and John was talking about the only difference between a person that's winning and losing, or a person that's successful and unsuccessful, is the way they think. That's it, right? Magic Johnson said the exact same thing when he's talking about going from millionaire status to billionaire status. There's a difference in your mindset. You see things different, right? You start acting different, talking different, walking different. You're being different. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of people that want to stick with that positive mindset, that commitment. Y'all know what I say when you ask me how am I doing. I'm always great. It's about conditioning the mind that I'm up here. I may have challenges, I may have difficulty, I may have setbacks. But if I'm operating up here and that comes, guess what? I'm going to have just a little dip and I'm going to keep going. But if I'm already down here below and a setback comes, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to drop to the floor.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Well, Charles got some feedback for you too, Cedric. He says, I agree, Cedric. I have a successful auto repair shop, and you have to believe that you will be successful even when you have failures. A failure is an opportunity to improve and get a win.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So today, can we make one correction?
It's a K.
Add that little K in there, Charles, for me. It's a CK at the end. I feel lonely without my K.
Carmen says, hey, Carmen, failure is feedback. And Dr. Cincy says as well, that's an excellent point about the grind. And I got to shout out my mama. She in the chat too now. I got the whole family.
Oh, my God. You got the whole
family.
I am winning.
Okay. All right.
Look, Charlie Sheen winning. Okay. So for those of you who really, those comments that Cedric just gave you really resonated, I also want you to acknowledge that in the chat, right? Talk about, see, he fixed it.
Actually, I gave him the thumbs up.
But put a fire sign in the chat if what Cedric just said really resonates with you. So now let's ground this in real life. So now I want us to imagine maybe a coach who's booked out their appointments, but they're exhausted. Or maybe we know of a consultant who knows they're capable of more, but can't break through. Where would you tell them to, like if they only got time to read one chapter, what would you suggest they start with, even though eventually they should read the whole book? Any thoughts?
Well, I'm going to tell you, chapter number 1. and it's not because I wrote that chapter. It's really right. But to me, that chapter really kicks this book off, right? It's all about the mindset of a champion and what that requires of you to have that mindset, right? And why it's so important, right? Again, mindset is everything. If you don't have the right mindset, man, it's going to be very hard for you to really succeed in any area of your life, right? So in that chapter, we're going to set it off real early, and we're going to talk about a young guy, Michael, who had a thriving tech business, and then all of a sudden, market changed. The financial market changed as well, and boom, he went under. But he did not give up. He stayed with it. It took him a couple of years to get through and get over. And with that, man, everything changed for him and his business. But if he would have just said, okay, well, I guess this, we give ourselves these excuses and we'll say, oh, God didn't mean it for me. You see what I'm saying? No, God, he wasn't saying that. He was just giving you a test. He was going to see if you were going to pass the test. So that's what I would tell you, Dr. Nick.
Yeah, I was going to say at least you need to read all of them. Going from Atlanta.
Which one they should read first?
Atlanta, all of them. But since you're forcing my hand to just pick one, I would say chapter 1, 2. And I say that because, like Cedric said, it sets the foundation and it allows you to kind of do an assessment of where you are. Because a lot of times we're high performers, or we think we're high performers, and we're busy, but we're not productive. So I think the first chapter kind of gives you opportunity to kind of slow down and kind of do some reflection and examine how you're operating. And you'll be surprised because you may think you high performance and you'd be like, oh, well, I read this book and be like, whoa, I'm not really where I think I need to be. So it helps you to reframe what high performance actually looks like and when it's sustainable and when it's not. So I think that it sets the tone and the foundation for the other chapters. So I too would say start with chapter 1 and then read all of them.
Well, actually, I would agree too. And I've been a part of other anthology projects, and I can tell you all, and I say this to Cedric and Nicole, like when I was reading our book, I was like, man, we did some good stuff here together. We really did, and the flow is where it needs to be. And so it's a good segue to where I want to go now, because this is one of the things that does make this book different is that it is an anthology. But it's an anthology of 3 people versus, however many chapters are in the book, right? And so we each take deep dives into content, again, that we know and know well. And then we wrap up the book with a chapter that is a composition of all of us. But it's multiple voices, but it's only one foundation, because we each believe so strongly that mindset is the key to everything. Like the title instantly was like, oh, yep, this is the title. Like we move together really well, but a lot of it is because we are on a level playing field and an equal playing field, but we're very different. Yeah. So that shows up in all we do, even with the beginning of the partnership. So for those of you who don't know us beyond our individual works, Cedric, Nicole, and I have been collaborating through BEI since January of 2020. So guys, this is like our anniversary.
That's right.
Nicole, you gonna sing again? Okay. So
it's our anniversary.
Oh, all right. So then there's an anniversary. You know what that means? We gotta pass the collection plate. Oh.
So this is the beginning of year 7 of us working together. And Kenrick texted me when he saw some of the images going across social media this week about the book launch and congratulated me. And about how did it feel to, for us working together for so long to have this project together. And I told him, I said, I'm really proud. I said, in the Bible, we talk about 7 is the number of completion. I said, so it's only appropriate. It's like at the beginning of year 7 of our work together, we would have this book to come out. So we've been hosting programs, walking alongside each other in real time, growing our individual businesses as we grow other people. So now I have a question. From the work that we've done through the boot camps, masterclasses, intensives, what mindset do you see come up over and over again with other coaches and the consultants that we serve?
Wait, ask that again, because I was looking at something in it.
That's okay. So with all the work that we've done in the last now 6 full years of working with coaches and consultants, what mindset do you see that comes up over and over again with some of these coaches and consultants?
Well, for me, I see scarcity mindset come up a lot, right? And I think for some people, it's just natural. They naturally start to believe that they are less than. I wrote that book, Take Off the Mask, You Are Enough. People don't believe that they are enough. People don't believe that they have the skill. They'll see what I'm doing and they'll go, I can't be Cedric. I can't. You can. I'm just a boy from South Louisiana. And I just have goals and dreams and aspirations I go after, right? You can do exactly what I'm doing, right? And you're going to get an opportunity to do that here real soon. However, I believe that people don't feel that they are enough. And maybe it was because they didn't grow up being told that they can. They may have heard more they can't, or it could have happened in their career where They've been told that they can't, they're not good enough. They make the interview, but they just fall short of the getting that promotion, right? So then it weighs down on them that I'm just not enough, right? So I think scarcity mindset comes up. That's what I see the most.
Okay. What about you, Dr. Nick?
I was thinking, I would say for me, I see a lot of the kind of similar piggybacking, but the need for like external validation where like there's that constant chasing for the shiny objects, right? Because you feel you need those things and that will make you whatever in your mind that you feel that is. I think that's what one thing that I see over that external validation where people start second guessing their own beliefs and values and trying to chase that shiny object, that next big thing that's going to make them big, not realizing that everything that you need for success is already in you, right? You're always looking outside of themselves for that next strategy, that next program or that next name to be aligned with, right? And just abandoning what God has already given you. So I see that. I think that's one of the biggest things. And it's not because, and I guess it goes along with what Cedric says, because that feeling that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. So I have to align myself with these big shiny things or these big shiny names and really not lean into my authenticity of who I am and who God's created me to be. And so we see leaders really delaying and pivoting and doing different things when like you got that great idea, you have it, right? You have that ability to solve that problem, that initial problem. But I think searching for that external validation caused that shiny object syndrome. You're always chasing other things and chasing other work. So I see that a lot.
No, I would agree with both of you. The only thing I would add to that is the fear of needing to be perfect. So, and I can actually say that because in the beginning, that was me. Like I would have these good ideas and things that I thought I could do, but then I was like, but I don't have it just perfect, like 100%. And it's only 90% there. And then I would tweak and tweak and tweak. And then you look up, it's somebody else that's already on the market, or you a day late and $1 short, right? So exactly. So letting my desire for perfection get in the way of the good that I can do right now. And I've come so far with that, and I'm really proud of that. But we see that a lot too. So many people, they have great ideas when they come to these intensives. We're like, oh my gosh, launch it. Well, no, I don't have X yet. Launch it. Or they're going into so much debt trying to get all this done that they never do anything.
Yes.
I got this certification. That certification, this platform, that platform, but don't have $1 coming in.
Right. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. This is where, so I'm going to reveal my secret sauce tonight. Okay. To people, right? People ask me, say, how can you do this and this? And you have all of these things going on, man. It just seems like you're always busy and you have, yes, I have all of these things going on because you know what? I never feel the need to be perfect. I just don't have that in me. My need is just to I can have an idea right now and literally it's 6:51 at my house, right? By tomorrow morning, I could have that product on the market.
Oh, we done seen it.
Yeah.
Remember I did the Facebook Live in our membership group and Cedric was like, all right, Angela, I'm gonna do a product. And the next day was a product online for Black Friday.
Yeah. I just don't have that need for everything to be perfect. People buy into the imperfection that you have. Okay. And okay, so what? I made a mistake on something. Boom. I correct it, right? People see that and I'm real then to them, right? And you're also getting stuff out. all the time. And then people start saying, man, this guy's always busy. He always has all kind of stuff going on. It's because you suspend that idea of being perfect. Now, you don't want to just put out any old thing, right?
Right.
Stuff that is that you believe that the market would want. It's a problem that you're going to solve, or it's a goal that you may have, right? I don't know if all my books are going to solve somebody's problems. It's what I want to do. And Angela and Nicole can both attest. 3.5 years ago, there was nowhere in my sight of vision, right?
Right.
Line of sight, or whatever you want to call it, right? But so we have this book coming out. I mean, it's out now. Okay. I have 2 books that I'm writing right now that's going to be out by the end of the first quarter. And I decided that over Christmas break, and I put together an outline, and I'll have the outline. And my goal is to have these 2 books out by the end of Q1. And it's just that easy, folks. It's just not easy, simple. But then when you're asleep, you go to sleep at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, oh, SETI, I'm up, right? Processing stuff. The other night, I went to bed at 4. No, it was at 6 a.m. I went to bed, and I got up at 11, right? So I'd been up the whole day, stayed up all night, and was grinding until 6 a.m. And then I went to sleep and got up at 11, right? And grind all day. Tonight's going to be one of those late nights again. It's just, I talked about that commitment earlier. Got to have that commitment if you want to go to a whole nother level.
No, you're spot on. Dr. Nick, we know, look, Dr. Nick is, I like to tell people, she the real Dr. Nick. So she PhD. Dr. Nick got to go teach.
Earned it.
So, so before you go, because I know you won't be here to the very end with me and Cedric, do you have any final words you want to say to folks that are listening about why they need to add this to their library?
Yeah, I hold it up. I think this book is for, we say entrepreneurs, but it's for leaders, professionals. If you are in a place where you're doing well, feeling successful, but you're plateauing, right? You're feeling in that stage where there's a transition, that you're feeling a little bit stuck. We use that word a lot. This right here is going to help you. 2026 to get your mind right. This is what you need. So that's all I'm going to say. And they're going to tell you how to get it and all that wonderful stuff, but go get the book. That's the right thing. Go get the book. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh boy.
All
Well,
right.
Dr. Nick, we hope you have a great class. And what I'll also just add to everybody, one of the things I love about this book is full of, it's got assessments, it's got opportunities for you to do introspective self, evaluation of yourself and your business, where you are, so that you can look at your progress, right? You take the assessment now, go through some of the steps and the protocols and that we've suggested, and then come back and reassess. Like this is not a one-time read, and many of us, like I tell people, I've read Think and Grow Rich so many times, sometimes I feel like I can recite it in my sleep, right? Because it's just one of those books that has helped me tremendously. And for those of you who are really looking to have the mindset of a champion and to be a high performance entrepreneur, because what we're telling you is that's already in you. You don't have to go buy it and go get something else to be it. It's there. Use this book to pull it out. But there are so many tools and resources. And we have a little fun. We're authentic. We talk about our journey. So if you're really looking for a tool or a resource, again, as Dr. Nick says, whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, because even high performance managers need the right mindset.
Right. So let me tell you one of the things. So you have the book, right? That's the book that you can read. But then for those leaders who have organization, who are looking to do workshops to help their people. We have a full day workshop for you and your people to go through, and then we do a deep dive, and we have all kind of activities in here, and to reinforce what you're learning, right? But if you are also a high power organization, you have a board, your C-suite, you want to take them to a whole nother level. This is not just about what you do every day. It's how you think, how you make decisions, right? We have a totally separate protocol for having a champion's mindset in decision making, right? Now that's for boards, C-suite executives, right? Is totally separate from our regular workshop, right? So we wanted to make sure that this book can help your organization and put in a framework for your organization in decision making, not just learning about some new leadership principle, because it's not about that. It's not about motivation and inspiration. This is how you think and how you make decisions in your business.
That's right. That is right. So if you're listening now as we wrap up and you're thinking, this sounds like where I am, the first thing I want to say to you is this is not an accident. Again, whether you saw this show live or you came across the recording, because mindset of a champion is for builders, it's for coaches, consultants, leaders, C-suite. It's for all of those types of individuals who want to grow with clarity, resilience, and intention. So you can definitely order your copy. So the way we move is each of us have our links. We know many of you know all three of us. Don't stress yourself out. Just pick somebody and buy a book. Look, it ain't that serious, right? But buy the book. Because we want you to add it to your library. We want you to mark it up. Again, thank you so much, Cedric, for just showing us. And I think that speaks volumes, right? He's one of the authors, and when he opened up his book, you just saw how much highlighting he'd already done. Because what we want you to do is then revisit it every time your mindset needs a reset, not just have it as a one-off. Right. So I want to leave you, audience, with this question. I'm sorry, my phone trying to tell me to get on the Zoom. And you can put it in the comments for us. What mindset shift do you need to make to step into your next level? And for those of you who put the comments in now, we'll go ahead and read them. But I really want you to think about that. What is the mindset shift you need to take that step to the next level? So I want to thank you for rocking it with us tonight. We have had a great time. I got to definitely give a shout out to the Hooper Minifield extended family, because you all showed out tonight for me.
Y'all did. Hey, y'all did. All right. I'm going to go call my family and say, look, y'all making me look bad. Except for my girl, Alexis. She's showing up in here.
I saw Alexis. Yes. That's why I had to put that comment up there. Hey, Alexis.
We the only two winners in our family.
Look, Alexis, like, that is a great question. Where they at? But we want to thank you all for joining us. This book is a representation of years of collaboration, growth, and commitment. And we are really excited to get it in your hands. And so, Cedric, I'll leave you with the final words. But everybody, please support us. Make sure you support us.
Absolutely. So, at the end of the book, Nicole writes about leaving a lasting legacy. And she emphasizes that merely reading for inspiration is insignificant. Action is paramount. She says, your mindset is the engine. Your purpose is the fuel. Your actions are the vehicle. And Angela reinforces this by saying that entrepreneurship is not just a vehicle for income. It's an instrument of impact. I'm just telling you, this book will impact you, your thinking, and everybody else around you. Just embrace it. So go buy the book.
That's right. So just jump on any of our platforms. We got links. Buy the book.
Yep. You know LaFleur Leadership Books, so I don't have to put it on in here. That's where all the other books are. When you're there, just buy all 10 of them and you'll be good.
Sissy said, awesome book to revisit for many, many years to come for my library. Thank you for writing this and for sharing tonight. Absolutely. And Carmen says, people will need to decide and go on to grind. That's right. All right, everybody.
Right there.
Have an amazing evening, and we'll be back soon. But until next time, again, we want you to be great. And remember, mindset is going to make the difference in everything you do. Take care, everybody. Absolutely.